After an amazing Knots victory over the Oklahoma State Cowboys, the UCF Citron Knots remain undefeated, while the Knights are now 5-5 and are edging on becoming bowl eligible. There are just 2 games left in the season to allow the Knights to secure a bowl game, and their season continues this week when they travel to Lubbock to face off against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. The 5-5 Raiders are coming off their own upset victory against the number 16 Kansas Jayhawks and are also playing for bowl eligibility. Can the Knights ride the momentum of a 2-win streak? Can the defense contain another top national running back? Will we see the team that defeated OSU with ease, or the team that was absolutely controlled by Kansas? My name is AC Flo, and this is your Week 12 preview for your UCF Knights.
This season, a new era dawns upon us. From humble beginnings to national prominence.
Unbeaten, 13-0.
Our history is big, but our future is bigger.
Last week, the Knights, under their space identity of the Citron Knots, controlled the number 15 Oklahoma State Cowboys, winning 45-3 and causing a complete momentum change for the rest of the Knights season. As always, here are the notes that I've gathered from this game and what implications they have for the next game against Texas Tech. Plumlee showed a beautiful usage of his legs last week against OSU, rushing for 74 yards on 14 carries. This is his highest yardage in a game since the very first game of the year when the Knights faced off against Kent State. RJ Harvey played phenomenally last week, rushing for 206 yards and extending his 100+ yards game streak to 5. With the rate that this great running back has been going, he will definitely be playing on Sundays in the pros next year, so be sure to hear his name in April when the draft rolls around. The Knights offense showed amazing play abilities both in the air and on the ground. Gaining almost 600 yards in the hour of gameplay, the UCF offense showed a near identical ground and air attack, with main contributors being RJ Harvey for 206 yards and Javon Baker and Kobe Hudson for 112 and 96 yards respectively. The offense scored on 7 of their 13 drives while only allowing 1 fumble. Making constant huge 30+ yard plays, the Knights showed off the offense that should have been in play this whole year. Something completely unexpected for every fan watching was how great our defense played. The D kicked butt last week, only allowing 1 scoring drive out of the 13 attempts by the Cowboys. And to add on to that, they held one of the best rushing offenses, led by the best running back in the nation, to only 52 yards. This was a beautiful switch from the defense that has been torn to shreds all year, and we are just wondering where the heck this defense came from. Among the many stops, forced punts, and 4th down turnovers, the defense caused 3 interceptions and 1 fumble. Defensive player of the game clearly goes to Damari Henderson, who recovered 1 defensive fumble and caught 2 interceptions against the Cowboys. But if there was one negative part of this game to nitpick, it would be the pass defense. The Knights defense played opposite roles this game, playing phenomenally against the ground attack, but struggling in the air. Alan Bowman threw 19 of his 36 passes for 225 yards, which was relatively high for the Knights secondary, who had previously been ranked the highest in pass D in the conference. OSU had many opportunities to score touchdowns as the game progressed, and if Bowman hadn't slipped up, or if it hadn't been raining, then this score could have been closer than what the results actually show. There was one clear contrast between the Knights and Cowboys throughout the second and third quarter, and that was the preparedness for the rain. Sunshine Florida, as people call it. Well, during most of the quarter and a bit after halftime, the bounce house was soaked by rain, a weather that the OSU team was not ready for. The Knights, however, got their hands wet and dirty, scoring a field goal and a touchdown while most of its fans were taking shelter under the stadium. And how are the Cowboys faring during this quarter? Well, the offense severely struggled, only getting 29 yards off 4 separate drives that ended in an interception. First time since Villanova, both UCF and its opposing teams are coming off W's, with Texas Tech scoring their own top 25 win against number 16 Kansas. TTU's kicker Gino Garcia pulled a Colton Boomer and practically gave the Raiders the W, scoring 3 field goals and giving Texas Tech the win with 3 seconds left in the final quarter. Besides Garcia, the Tech offense showed a pretty solid game last week, with quarterback Baron Morton completing 19 out of 25 passes for 176 yards. The only player outside of Gino Garcia to score points was running back Taj Brooks, who ran for a touchdown in the first quarter. But the clear carry for this game was their defense, who held the Jayhawks passing game to 137 yards, while allowing 207 rush yards. Despite Kansas's best efforts, the Raiders stonewalled the Kansas offense and prevented KU from scoring up until the fourth quarter. Similar to the Knights, Texas Tech has experienced many ups and downs throughout their season, going 4-3 in conference, but 5-5 overall. The Raiders' season started out rough, losing to Wyoming in a game that should have been overwhelmingly in Tech's favor. The rest of the season went as expected, losing to teams that they should have and beating teams that TTU was able to handle. That was until 2 weeks ago, when they defeated the 2022 national runner-up TCU and proceeded to win a defensive battle against previously mentioned Kansas. Can Tech, like the Knights, ride this momentum to defeat UCF on their home turf? Let's just see their roster. Following an early season injury to their QB1 Tyler Show, Texas Tech has relied on Baron Morton to be their main play caller, and he has responded pretty positively. He has thrown 1,154 yards for 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Pretty solid. Morton's main targets are a trio of wide receivers, all possessing almost 400 yards each. But the main carry of this Red Raiders team is running back Taj Brooks, who has 1,170 rushing yards and is ranked 5th nationally at the rushing position. He, like Ollie Gordon from OSU, is a huge threat that the Knights defense needs to handle to ensure a victory for UCF. The Raiders defense has made 660 tackles, 8 interceptions, and forced 3 fumbles this year. One linebacker has made 81 tackles, while 3 other players have made 50 or more. The Raiders defense are okay at putting pressure on the QB, with 4 players amassing 3 or more sacks. Plumlee, however, needs to be cautious of Texas Tech's secondary, where 2 players have 3 and 4 interceptions. Like almost every game UCF has played this season, on paper, they should be able to pull the victory. UCF shreds Texas Tech in every offensive category, and will probably bring a hearty mix of rushing and receiving that should run over the Texas Tech defense. Defensively for UCF, the Knights should be able to control the air. However, Taj Brooks is a terrifying beast, which begs the question, are we going to see the Knights defense that absolutely dominated Oklahoma State? Or are we going to see the defense that has played the rest of the season? If the team that showed up last week were to bring the same energy to Lubbock, then this will definitely be a competitive game to watch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you lovely people have a great day. Be sure to subscribe and go Knights and charge on!